passed the test. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm doing my pony imitation. I'm a little hoarse. I know that's bad. But I'm Mayor Catherine Tallman of St. Clairsville, and I am so tickled to have so many people here of such esteem. I am honored, and I've got a very special guest here. I'd like to thank London Florals. I'd like to thank Chick-fil-A for the wonderful job they've done in providing a reception. I'd also like to acknowledge, I know we've got some council people here from St. Clairsville. Where's Jerry Eichmann? He's supposed to be up here helping me. All right, get up here. We've got Linda Jordan, one of our council people. I saw J.C. Thrash, Jim Velas, if you guys want to stand up and just give a wave so they know who you are. Who else? There we go. Donnie Vincenzo. Anybody else? Am I missing anybody, Jim? Oh, Tara Butler. Pardon me, Tara, you're hiding. And we've got several people here from the county level. And if you want to introduce some of them, Jerry, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. I'm Commissioner Jerry Eschman, and we have our elected officials over here. Our treasurer, Kathy Kellich. Jason Garsick, who is our recorder. Cindy Henry is our auditor. And we have Judge Fraggiato here of the Common Pleas Court, as well as Cynthia Fraggiato, Clerk of Courts. I think that's everybody, but on a special note, we have Guernsey County Commissioner Jack Marlin. Jack, would you stand up? Jack is a 1978 graduate of St. Clairsville High School, and he was in the band and was the band leader and everything else. So, Jack, we're happy to have you from Guernsey County. Thank you very much.
Oh, I guess I'm back. I know we have several mayors here, and I appreciate that. If you could please stand up and shout out and say hello, I would appreciate it. Don't be shy, come on. I thought there were a couple other mayors here, but thank you very much. We also have Senator Jim Carnes here. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of our esteemed guests. 2 weeks ago, I was honored to be asked to speak at our middle school. They asked me to come in and say what a mayor does. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Oh, yeah. And so I told them what a day consists of, but then I kind of turned the tables on them, and I said, what would keep you staying in St. Clairsville, Ohio, after you graduate? What do we need to do for you? And I'll tell you, the kids are smart, and they've got their opinions, and they're not afraid to share them. Every student cited to me, my family's here, this is my heritage. That's important to them. They want schools that provide a good education to compete when they graduate, and they want opportunities for job creation that provide benefits and a living wage to raise a family. Well, I'm old enough, I'm loath to admit, that I remember the Bee Gees, bell-bottoms, leisure suits, Tara, and shag carpeting. That was all the rage when I was in high school, which means I also remember I had a lot of neighbors and friends who worked up and down our valley in the booming steel mills, coal mines, and industrial plants. These folks were hardworking, honest citizens who helped to fuel the success that is America. But since then, a lot of business and industry has left, going to countries across the ocean. And during the COVID pandemic, I think we were all hit front and center, excuse me, with the importance of manufacturing and opportunities for business here in America, and how important that is to keep our independence with products made at home. This brings me to our very special guest. Governor DeWine has been a leader in reaching out to regions of Ohio that are not just part of the 3 Cs, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. Rather, Governor DeWine has redefined the 3 Cs, courage, commitment, and collaboration. Collaboration to recognize and identify areas of need in the often underserved parts of our state, and knowing how to partner with business and government to make Ohio attractive to business. He's got the courage to go outside the box in the non-traditional areas, and he's got the commitment to see these dreams become reality. For example, the Ohio Builds water infrastructure grants are now impacting communities in every county of the state. There's $5 million on grant funding to improve water quality in the Ohio River Basin, and increased funding to maintain strong law enforcement. I love these guys, which strengthens communities and makes business want to be here. Absolutely. We've got the best. And of course, bringing Intel home was not just a home run. That was a grand slam, Governor. Governor DeWine is here to share with us some very exciting news that will be very good for our area of the state. And I, in fact, can't wait to hear what it is. So with no further ado, I am honored to present our Governor, Michael DeWine. Thank you, sir.
Thank
you,
very
sir.
much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, everybody. Come on up, guys. Come on up. Mayor? Mayor, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. I want to give a shout out to, I told our friends from Chick-fil-A down back there that yesterday I was in Youngstown and I had the chicken and the biscuit for breakfast at Chick-fil-A. So we two days in a row. It's great. Let me give a shout out to the Red Devil Band. Thank you guys and girls. Thank you. You guys are great. We appreciate it very, very, very much. I want to introduce my girlfriend, Fran. Fran, you want to stand up? Come on, everybody. I know some of you are looking around and wondering, I didn't know he had a girlfriend, but Fran and I met in first grade, and this year we celebrate, on June 3rd, we'll celebrate our 55th wedding anniversary. So Fran is, also want to introduce Leanne Johnson. Leanne, thank you very much. So Leanne has been helping Fran with, I got to do a little commercial here, for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And so your assignment, everybody out here, if you have children or grandchildren or even great-grandchildren who are 0 to 5 years of age and they're not signed up yet for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, you can go online and, what do they look for, Fran? OhioImaginationLibrary.org. OhioImaginationLibrary.org. And Fran actually has some cookbooks, and you've got the QR code on the back, and you can just sign the kids up. We now have 44% of the kids in the state of Ohio, 0 to 5, who are getting these books from Dolly Parton once a month. They're in the mail, and it's really, really great. And we appreciate the community support in Belmont County to help us do that. So it's a really, really great program. I know that the mayor introduced some people, and I'm not going to introduce everybody here because you're all very, very important. But we have some educators here. Belmont College President Paul Gasparo. Paul and I have talked a lot about. Our community colleges are our future. They are doing a phenomenal job around Ohio. They started a long time ago with Governor Jim Rhodes, and Rhodes said he wanted a college within 30 miles of everybody in the state of Ohio, and he pretty much accomplished that. But we've seen, and now in the last few years, our community colleges have really stepped up. They're working with our local business communities, and they're just doing a phenomenal job. So, Mr. President, thank you for what you and your team do. If you could take that back to your team, we appreciate it very much. We also have some superintendents, principals here, other educators. You guys want to stand up? Tell them where you're from. Everybody knows you, but all right, Shady Side, Bridgeport. Very. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. We have some more. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate what you did. Appreciate what you guys do every day. We know for educators the last 2 years have been particularly tough, so thank you. Thank you. We are very, very grateful for what you do and what you do each and every day. So let's get to the business at hand. In my State of the State speech a few weeks ago, when I was talking to the members of the General Assembly, I said, let me just kind of quote to start this off, I intend to work with you, members of the General Assembly, and local leaders to create an investment program to revitalize the economies and the main streets of the area where Ohio began, or 32 Appalachian counties. And so today, I'm going to give more specifics about what our plan is, tell you a little bit about how we designed it, and it's a plan. It's a plan that we think will make a huge, huge difference, and it's a plan that will be asking today, really, the legislature to take a look at, and we hope pass. We put this plan together, first of all, with some of the people you see behind me, some of our leaders in Appalachia. There are other members of the General Assembly also who participated in that. Today we have Senator Frank Hoagland, Representative Don Jones, Representative Ron Ferguson, Representative Brian Baldridge. They represent all the other members of the General Assembly who are from our 32 Appalachian counties, and I'm very, very grateful for their input. They all had input into this, and we listened to them. In fact, they've been talking to me since the day I became governor, and telling us what the needs of Appalachia are. So they do a phenomenal job for this part of the state of Ohio, and if you could give them a hand, I would appreciate that. We have also worked with the mayors and commissioners and other local officials of the 32 counties, Appalachia. The Foundation for Appalachia, we have worked with them, a great, great organization. The Appalachian Development Districts, some of whom I know are represented here today. And we've just really listened as Fran and I have traveled around the state of Ohio. Our 32 Appalachian counties are just phenomenally beautiful. This is where Ohio began, is in our Appalachian counties. Something I said in my State of the State speech when I was talking to the members of the General Assembly, I said, this is, I truly believe, Ohio's time. And it's also Appalachia's time. This is the time that I think that we have a great opportunity to grow as a state, great opportunity to provide opportunity for every single Ohioan. My goal, and the thing that drives us every single day, is our belief that our mission should be to provide opportunity for every single Ohioan so that they can live up to their God-given potential. That's our job. It's the job of the educators. That's the job of all of us. We're moving forward as a state. The mayor was talking about Intel, but there's so many other companies that are frankly looking at Ohio, and so many that are coming into Ohio, and so many that want to grow in Ohio. And frankly, our biggest challenge as we move forward, we're creating more jobs every day than we have people to fill them. And our challenge is so we don't leave anybody behind, so that when a young person graduates from high school, they're on some path. You know, they may change their ideas about careers. I've changed mine a few times over the years. I thought a friend would tell you when we got married, I thought I was going to be a social studies teacher in high school. Didn't work out. I took the bad pathway and ended up in politics. But seriously, we need kids to have a pathway. And that can be to go to college, it can be to a trade, it can be something that's being taught at our career centers, but that is so very, very important, and that's really what this focus is all about. So let me talk about our proposal that we're going to make to the General Assembly, and then you're going to hear from these members of the General Assembly. Our proposal is to take some of the federal dollars that have come in and to spend those over the next 2 years, and to spend them and focus on, as where I said where Ohio began, and that is our Appalachian counties, our 32 Appalachian counties. So my proposal to the General Assembly is to spend over the next 2 years $500 million. $500 million for our local communities. And this will not be a situation where we tell the people of Appalachia how to spend it. It will be where the planning is done at the local level and where the communities come forward and say, this is the help that we need. We are seeing throughout the state of Ohio something that is already moving forward, and that is community after community is starting to revitalize their downtowns. There's pride in the local community, and you're seeing communities do a number of things to improve the quality of life, to be able to attract more people. And let me just name a few of these points that we're going to allow this money to be spent on. And let me just say, though, before I do that, that we plan on, first of the $500 million, we plan on at first putting out $50 million to local communities, and communities can come together if they want to, but to help them plan. Not our ideas, their ideas, but to help them come up with a plan for that community. Because the thing I've learned over the years is what's great about Ohio is we are a local government state. We like education local. We like parents involved. We like communities involved. This shouldn't come down from Columbus. It should come and grow from the local communities. And so we're going to put some seed money out there initially for the local communities that can come together, counties can come together, however they want to do it, and apply for the money to do the work so that they can then come up with a plan. And then after they have the plan, then we can start sending that money out for them to be able to do that. Here are some of the areas where this money can be spent. Number one, on Main Street, downtown redevelopment, just what I was talking about. We're already seeing communities do this. We're seeing some phenomenal things as Fran and I travel around the state of Ohio. We want to seed more money to allow communities to do that. When you go into a community and you see what's downtown, that's what gets people excited. Gets people excited about that community, and so very, very important. Number two, trails, outdoor community space, tourism, arts and culture. People are discovering our Appalachian counties as a place to come and spend the weekend, a place to come and spend a week, a place to go just for an afternoon. So much culture, a lot of the arts, and the great recreation. We have great state parks, many of them in Appalachia. We have 75 state parks. Think of that, all free. Something that's really the kind of the crown jewel of the state of Ohio are the state parks. And as an aside, I'll be coming back to our friends in the General Assembly to invest more in our state parks, and we'll be talking about that later. But these state parks are really the gems, and we've seen during the pandemic the use of the state parks went up, skyrocketed, absolutely dramatically. It's important for us to make sure the infrastructure of those state parks is well in place. But planning for tourism, people to come to this area, very, very exciting. The third way they could spend money would be on broadband. Now, we're already, as the mayor indicated, we're already starting to put money into broadband. Broadband is where we need to be today. Every Ohioan needs to have access to broadband, and that opens up opportunities for business. It opens up opportunities for people to be able to work remotely. It opens up opportunities for education. We found that out, certainly, during the pandemic, when we saw some of our schools not have the ability, the kids not have that ability to do that. So this is they could come up with a plan to supplement the broadband, what we've already doing. Education, workforce development. Again, all kinds of ideas out in the community about how we can, again, allow people to live up to their God-given potential, young people to do that, and adults to do that as well. School or community-based services for schools. Again, giving schools more opportunity to design their own extra assistance to the children in their school. And finally, substance use disorder. We know that substance abuse is all over the state of Ohio. We know that that is a challenge, and again, local communities, what we found is local communities putting their own programs together is really the best thing. I'm going to turn it over now to the members of the General Assembly, also to John Carey, Director of Government Office of Appalachia. John will close this out today, and then we'll take questions from anybody in the news media. And I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, Frank Hoagland. Frank, are you going to?
Stand right here, Governor.
Senator?
I better raise this thing up a little bit. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thanks to everybody for inviting all of us here, especially to both the governor and his wife for coming here to Appalachian. And Governor, let me tell you, we're the people of the 30th District. We are the heart of Appalachia, right here. And we also know how to do planning. I could guarantee you talk to the mayor, you talk to the sheriff back there, there's a million plans that already ran through their heads like, well, we could do this and we could do that. This is an extremely exciting moment for our district. We now have the opportunity to make the improvements that are much needed to not only support ourselves, but also possibly expand our economic development and everything else that we have going on in this wonderful, God-rich environment with all the minerals, all the resources, and more importantly, the hard-working people that's willing to get up every day and stay focused on that mission of making sure that they know how to show up to work on time, in the right uniform, and with the right attitude. There are so many things out here that a lot of people, like John and I were just talking about some things of what we can do to make some of the improvements. But I know this, going all over the world, it's teammate, self. It's having the ability to ensure that we have mobility and communications. As long as we can expand or maintain those resources that we have in this area, we will see expansion. We are the people that we created Ohio. It was our forefathers that created this state, made the roads and the bridges, and started to expand west into Columbus. So this is not only an opportunity for us, but I know that my Father that's sitting in heaven right now has the opportunity to say, wow, we're really making that, we're leaning forward. We're going to lean from the front. We're going to lead from the front. We're going to make things happen. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Don Jones, Representative Jones. Don and I are we're like brothers, and we argue all the time. Don and I is always planning something, trying to figure out how we can bring something better to our area, and we're always trying to figure out how to make the 30th District, in the forethought of the governor's brain, along with everybody else that's up here, because we actually have people that's around us, especially up in Columbus, and they'll ask us, like, what are you guys doing down there? We're the ones taking all the money to improve our roads. We're the ones trying to say, hey, look, we need to expand broadband. So without further ado, Representative Don Jones.
I'll move that back down. Thank you, Senator Hoagland. So welcome to everyone, and I'd like to say welcome to the 95th District again to Mr. Dewine, our governor, and Fran. They've spent quite a bit of time here in the last 3 years since I was elected to this role. And Governor, I'm going to say this, you're making it a little bit tough on me because I told everyone, they said, well, you know, we went to Columbus, what part of the state do you represent? And I said, I represent the forgotten part of Ohio. The forgotten part was south of 30 and east of 77. I says, we're the ones that don't get our fair share of the pie. So you're making it a little tough on me, Mr. Governor, because we are not forgotten anymore, and it's because of your administration. So thank you for that. And I want to build off of what Senator Hoagland said. You know, and these colleagues of mine that are here with me, they represent Appalachia as well. You know, we are working hard to get our share of the pie. And, you know, we have done very well in 2 budget cycles for Appalachia, and we're starting to see the rewards of that. And I can promise you this, you know, the governor is listening, and so are our colleagues. We know that we need broadband. We're never going to develop our business communities and our homes, and people don't want to live someplace where they don't have cell phone service anymore. You know, and that's a reality. And if we can't have service, and I can speak from experience, I have 2 hotspots in my house just to try to do what I need to do, and some days it still doesn't work. But we know we need broadband, and that's something that's important. Workforce development. We've got to continue to work. You know, as the governor said, we're creating more jobs than we have people to fill them. And everywhere you go up and down the Ohio River, and in my district, which is 5 counties from Minerva to Marietta, there are help wanted signs everywhere. We have got to start helping our young people figure out, and that's where, you know, being a former educator, I think we start in the 6th grade and we say, look, we got to start helping our young people figure out, where do you want to land? Because we have too many kids graduate from high school that have no idea what they want to do. So workforce development, broadband, and the third thing I want to say is infrastructure. Infrastructure has been a problem and continues to be a problem in eastern and southeastern Ohio, and we are getting the help that we need. It never comes fast enough, but we appreciate the help that we've gotten so far. You know, water and sewer is a real issue for a lot of communities, small communities. And, you know, and the problems with those systems are they're antiquated, and, you know, they just haven't been able to keep up. You know, some of them need replaced. And again, we're working hard, you know, and I say we, it's this whole group that's standing up here before you. It's not just one of us, it's all of us. We're working hard to make sure that we get those services, those infrastructure needs met. And you know, and the last thing I want to touch on, and I'll turn it over because I could stand here, I'm programmed for 42 minutes. I taught schools, but I'm not going to do that, and the governor's got a schedule to keep. But, and so, yeah, everybody, we all do, but is energy. We live in the most energy-rich part of the United States, right here in eastern Ohio. We have got to work with our partners, and I said this to the governor, and he has heard me, and we're working. We haven't got a solution, but I told him at breakfast at the governor's mansion, I said, we have a real problem with natural gas distribution in the state of Ohio, and we know that. And that's something that, you know, natural gas, we're blessed with a lot of it right here underneath of our very feet. But the problem is we put it in a pipe and we send it to some other part of the country. If we could keep it right here and utilize some of it, we could grow our economy, because that's another thing that, you know, is becoming as important as broadband. So energy is something that we have to continue to work on, you know, and with all good comes bad. You know, we've experienced that here in Belmont County with some of the sectors of the oil and gas industry, and I'm going to say this. We have to embrace them. We have to face them head on. We may not always win every day, but at the end of the day, we have to win, and I think we are. So with that, I'm going to turn over to my colleague who I share Belmont County with, and he represents the furthest of the East Coast in here in Ohio, and that is Representative Ron Ferguson.
It's exciting to be out here today. It's obviously some really great news here for Eastern Ohio, and for many years we didn't have that great news, and now we're getting so many of these great things that we get to hear. I want to start by making sure we were saying hi to all the elected officials, but I know the township trustees. We have a lot of the township trustees here, and in Eastern Ohio, most people live in a township rather than a municipality, so our township trustees are always important to keep in mind, so thank you guys for being out here. Thank you very much. And then, of course, my friend J.P. Dutton there in the back, who I talk to all the time, and thank you for your guidance and your help here in Belmont County. You know, what I really think is important to note is my friend State Senator Frank Hoagland, a veteran. We have right here Don Jones, who's a school teacher and a farmer, both men small business owners like I am, and I used to do their job. I used to be a TV reporter. But I bring up that because what we see now is we have first-time elected officials. Frank Hoagland is in his first elected office, Don Jones, myself, and that's why we're starting to see difference, because we're choosing people from our area that have not served before to go to Columbus to get the job done, and now we're starting to see great things happen in Eastern Ohio, and we've deserved it for a long time. There's going to be a lot more to come. It's really an honor to represent you, and I will pass it to my good friend, Brian Baldridge.
Thank you, Representative. And I'm on the west, we mentioned the eastern coast of an area, but I am in Appalachia, but I am down in Adams and Scioto counties. So I work your way down the river, and I just happened to be up here today, and I heard about this and talked with my colleagues. I said, love to be here and participate in this opportunity to hear Appalachia, because we're all in this together. And I appreciate the governor's commitment so much to the importance of Appalachia. Mrs. Dewine, great to see you. Thank you for being here as well. But it is, the mayor said something about collaboration. And I appreciate the directive that we've heard. And from a standpoint, I was a four-term county commissioner, so thank you, commissioners, and two-term trustee. Thank you, trustees. But I believe totally, as I've worked my way to the State House in Columbus, I believe that this is a team sport. It is about collaboration as we work together at a local level to make these differences. And I'm just honored to be here to participate in this today. And thank you again, Governor, for this initiative. And we look forward to working hard from the legislature with the executive branch and truly making a difference. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. I live closer to where Representative Baldridge lives, so I say Appalachia instead of Appalachia. I see President AJ from the Rotary. I spoke recently, and somebody said, who gave you permission to change the name from Appalachia to Appalachia? And I said, well, it's just where you're from. But it's a great day, and I want to talk a little bit on behalf of the governor about why Appalachia, and some of the ideas we're going to do. But I will say that as we move forward, we'll have a lot of opportunities. So it'll really be on us. We'll be held accountable through the Governor's Office of Appalachia, but we also as a region, we really need to work together to take advantage of this opportunity. Governor DeWine, when he appointed me as the state alternate, invited me to come to the cabinet members and cabinet meeting, and he told his cabinet, he said, all of you are to work in supporting Appalachia. And I've had great support, and the region has had great support for Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Usted, and it's really made a difference, and we're seeing great things happening. Why is it important for this investment for Appalachian, Ohio? Why is it different than some other part of the state? Well, with the terrain that we have, that's created geographical barriers, but as my good friend Jim Carnes knows, that the decline of the coal industry has severely impacted our region, and we haven't been able to recover from that. And so this is an opportunity for us to continue to honor our heritage with coal and other extractive industries, but also to build on our future. Kind of be the pioneers now, or the pioneers to start with for the region, for the state. Now we have opportunity to be pioneers again. One of the factors that we're seeing in Appalachia is population loss. We want people to stay in our towns, in our counties, as the mayor talked about, and as she talked to the students in the band who are great. We want this a place, we want our region to be a place where young people want to stay and other people want to live and raise a family. With this initiative, we'll have the opportunity in our communities to strengthen our natural assets that the governor talked about and have the tools and help build the workforce necessary for jobs here in our area to give them the incentive to stay. One of the reasons why we need this assistance in building our economy is our income is less. We have less resources in the Appalachian region generally than other parts of the state. We have a lower income and a higher poverty rate. So it's important that we have these, this plan that our legislators are going to consider. And by the way, our Appalachian delegation is fantastic and been very supportive of our Appalachian efforts in the Governor's Office of Appalachia. So I want to thank them, because a lot of times you don't hear the good things about people that are actually doing the work. So I want to thank them for that. The other thing that was very important to the governor, and he mentioned, is health. We only have 40% of the workforce that we need for mental health access. We have lower access for primary care. We rank highest, unfortunately, in things like suicide rates and obesity. So health is an important component of this. And I see our school district partners are here. And one project that we've already been able to do through Broadband Ohio is Monroe County, Switzerland, Ohio, through telehealth. So we look for other great things to happen, maybe farmers markets and those type of things. But also with the workforce and the dean from OU Belmont's here and President Casparo, we want to focus on the workforce that'll keep people here and create jobs that'll be here in our areas. That's the important thing, and that's one of the gists of what we heard in the planning of this initiative and under the governor's direction. This will be a truly historic investment. $500 million, to give you some perspective, is 2.5 times more than the Appalachian Regional Commission spends in all 13 states. So Ohio will be a leader in making things happen. As we move forward, I look forward to working with all of you and challenge you to think about what can be, what we're going to look like in the future, and we'll change that population growth trend downward and income more equitable and more access to health care, amongst many other great things. So thank you.
Thanks, John. John, thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions from the media, or if you guys want to do some interviews afterwards with anybody up here, that's great as well. Any questions now? Anybody?
Sir, I do. Thank you for the $500 billion. Why didn't you do it a year ago?
Why didn't we do it a year ago? Well, first of all, we're in the midst of the pandemic, and we did not know, frankly, what these federal dollars would have to be used for. They might have to be used for the pandemic. They may have to be used for other things. So we're to the point now where we think we've got a better understanding of that, and we now have had for some time the opportunity for people throughout the state of Ohio to get vaccinated. And the age group is even moving down again. It looks like it's going to move down even further. So we're just at a very different situation today. Okay.
So what is next? What's your next step?
Yeah, next step is a good question. The next step is, for us to work with the state legislature. These are all leaders in Appalachia. How are we going to pronounce it today, John? Depends on what part of community I'm in. But we're going to work with the legislature. This is our proposal we're making to the legislature today at the State of the State. I've kind of outlined it, but now we're having more details today that we're putting out about what our plan would be, how that proposal is. It's a bold, it's an imaginative plan, and it's a plan that relies upon the local communities to determine how they spend the money. So I think it's a one-time opportunity. These are one-time dollars. So we did not want to create, at the state level, create programs that we couldn't sustain. We're going to get this money once, and so we need to spend it on one-time occurrences. But the best way we think to do that is not for us to make those decisions in Columbus, but to take this big chunk of money, $500 million, and to get it back to the 32 counties who are in our Appalachian region of Ohio. And we think it's going to make a big difference. We're already seeing a lot of good trends. We're seeing more broadband coming, and we're pushing that through other funding sources as fast as we can out into the community. We're seeing people discover this part of the state, rediscover it as a place to go for a weekend, as a place to go for a half a day, just a way to get away and go fishing or go hunting or hunt mushrooms or whatever people want to do. The arts that have thrived in this part of the state of Ohio. So there's great opportunity. Now's the time to hit it. Now's the time to move us forward, this part of the state. So.
What federal money program is this coming from?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be up to the legislature. We have the opportunity to either use general fund dollars or to use the federal dollars. And the federal fund dollars have certain limitations about how it gets spent, and this will be something that this legislature will work out. So I want to thank you all very, very much. We're happy to do a meeting with the media back there, and if you guys want to do any one-on-ones, we're happy to do that. I want to thank you all for coming, and it's a great day. We're going to get anything else, Michael? Picture? All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.